Hello and welcome to a new video. In this one, we are going to be making a very simple version of the game 2048. It's very bare bones, and you can expand on this however much you want it to. You want to do, but this is what we're going to be making today. So if I use my arrow keys right now, I can move around. So if I'm going to do right, and then another one is going to spawn, I can go down now and add these two together. I can go up and add those, and I can go right or left to add those together to 8. And also, it's gonna keep track of the highest score up top in the middle. Anyway, let's just get right to it. Okay, let's see how we're gonna do this. The first thing, we are on a blank template, but we do not need any of these meshes. So let's get rid of those and let us create a player controller. So PC base. Let us create a GM base and let us create a HUD base. Just so we have those set up. Now let's also set up our pawn, which is going to be our player character. And that is okay. So now you can go into our world settings, game mode override, head over to GM base, expand this open, select your player character, select your HUD base, and select your PC base. Next thing, we are going to set up some spawners. So let's just make a new folder, call this one base. In here, we can move our base classes and then create new blueprint actor. This one is going to be BP cube spawner. Open that up. Dock that. Inside here, we want a box collision. This box collision is looking okay as is, so we're not going to fuck with that too much. It's centered, yeah. Everything is fine with that. Set it to perspective again. Now, let us place these box spawners. Also, this cube spawner, this box, let's remove hidden in game so that we can tune things a bit later. Here, we're going to have some space in between. Let's actually switch this to a top view so we can see it more properly. Let's do... Why are these not lining up? Let's get our cube spawner, place that down, and get that down to the center. For some reason, this is being really janky today. There we go. Now you can select all of these and go into your front view. And then hold on Shift, Alt, go up, and then move it up to 6. So now we got our little cubes. Let's get rid of this one. The sound, we don't need that. And yeah, let's just keep it like that. Let's get our player character and let's add a camera to our character and move our character in the world. Flip it to 180. And this is why we set the cubes to be shown. So now we can set up our camera to be the way you want. However, we don't want this. So let's go to details, right click on the location, copy that, move our player start to that location, and then you can remove the player camera again. So we're going to make a new blueprint class, going to be type actor. This one is going to be called BP number cube. And inside our cube spawner, first of all, we are going to create a new function. This function is going to be called spawn cube. We might add some more things later to this, but for now, we're just going to do a box and get overlapping actors, checking for the number cube, and it's empty out from that. It's going to return with a boolean. If it is not empty, then we're going to return with a not a success, but a false. However, if it is empty, then we're going to spawn actor from class. The class is the number cube. Split the transform, and where are we going to spawn it? We're going to spawn it at our scene root, get the world location from that. That is our location. After this is done, we can return with a success. Over inside our player character, where most of our things are going to happen. The very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to our event graph and remove these, and we're going to set up a custom event called start. We're going to be using a lot of events for this and not necessarily the functions for them, or setting up functions. I'm going to call this start event, like so. If I'm not mistaken, the game starts with 2 and then it adds 1 on each turn. So we're going to do from index 0 to index 1. That's going to be 2. Out of the loop, we're going to get all actors of class. We're going to get the cube spawner. We're going to get a copy at a random integer. Max is going to be 16. We've got 16 blocks. We're going to spawn cube. Branch out of the success. If we're not successful, we're going to have a delay 0.01 and it's going back into the get. Right? So it is going in, and of course it's not going to work because we haven't actually set up the cube. Inside of your number cube, you're going to add a cube. This one, we're going to have lock the scaling and set it to 0.85. Right, like so. Make sure that the anchor is in the center and that it's a child of the scene root. If I now hit play, there we go, we got our cube. It's going to spawn randomly in each iteration. I'm going to move this one a little bit more back. There we go. Now we got our cube spawning. Let us also, while we're here, set up the WBP number widget so we can see what we have. So it's just going to be a text. The side on screen, this is going to be the number. Text is going to be variable. I'm going to set the default by 99999, so 5 nines for me. Justify that to the middle. We're also going to add a alpha to our shadow, and that's it for our number widget. Inside of our number cube, we're going to add a widget. I'm going to do 100 by 50, maybe, we'll see. It's going to be the number widget. Real time space is world. We're going to move it out here. This might look a bit silly, might look very 3D, but yeah, it's going to be like that for now. Over on our event graph, on our begin play, we're going to get our widget. We're going to get widget out of our widget. Get our widget component and get widget out of that, sorry. Cast that to the number widget. Get the number text, and then we're going to set text. The text that we're going to set it to is a integer of type integer with the number as the name. You can also expose this because we might want to edit it later. Yeah, so let's expose that for now. And then this is going to be our text. We're also going to add a custom event up here, which is going to be update number text. Texty. Sounds sexy. There we go. So now this should go out as 0. Let's default that to 2. And now we got our little blocks here. Let us set up some basic functionality for our cubes to move around with. Over on our left side, you're going to add a new function. We're going to call this one move up. That's the one we're going to do first. Inside of move up, we're going to get our cube. We're going to get the world location from our cube. We're going to get the world rotation. And we're going to get the up vector. We're going to multiply that by a float, which is going to be, let's do 100 and test that for now. And then we can add these two together. That goes into a line trace by channel. That is our end position. The start position is the world location of the cube. We're going to set this to be persistent so I can see it and debug it. And then let's actually just do a, on our begin play, let's just do a move up from this. We're not going to keep this, but let's just keep it like that for now. So you can see where it goes. It's going up there. Awesome. We're going to make a new blueprint class. This is going to be called, we're going to call this one checker. It's going to have a box collision. And we're going to set that down to like 0.5. So it's a lot tinier. It's not going to be hidden in game. So let's remove that. Back on our move up, when we do our line trace, we're going to break the out hit. And on the location, we're going to spawn actor from class. On the end location. The class is going to be our checker, and the location is the trace end. When I play, that spawned the characters up there. Let's actually see how that looks, because it might be a bit off. Yeah, let's move it down. Back on our number cube, let's do maybe 95 on that instead. Our checker is going to do a couple things. It's going to have a couple function. We're going to do, are we overlapping cubes? Which is going to come out with a true or false. So success or not success. We're going to get our box. We're going to get overlapping actors. And the class is going to be the number cube. We're going to check if it's not empty. So are we overlapping? Yes or no? Balance state. We're going to make another function in here. We're going to call this are we at the end question mark. Here we're going to do our box, get overlapping actors. This time we're going to check if we are overlapping a spawner. If we are, if that is empty, then we're coming back with a return node. And let's see here, output success, and plug that into the boolean. So are we empty? Yes, that means we are at the end. Then we're going to add another one, which is going to be who are we overlapping? I'm going to get the box. I'm going to get overlapping actors. Get the class filter of number cube. I'm going to get the first one. And then we're going to cast to number cube. And then add a return node. Plug in the cast as into the return node. But back to your number cube. Out from your checker, you can now do a are we overlapping cubes. Add a branch to the success. If we are not overlapping cubes, then let us check, are we at the end? And another branch out of that. If we are at the end, then we are going to destroy the checker and return. If we are not at the end, we're going to get our default scene route. We're going to set world location from that. And the location that we're going to set it to is the trace end, which is also the same location as our checker. So you could use the checker if you wanted to. Once that is done, we're going to destroy the checker. We're going to call our move up once more, and then we're going to return. This is if there is no overlapping cubes. Or if there is overlapping cubes, we need to find out who are we overlapping. Then we need to find out the info from that. So get the number from the one and check that the number is equal to our number. We only want to merge if it's equal. If it's not equal, then we can destroy our checker and we can return. Or if it is equal, we want to get our number and we want to set our number. Set our number to be our number times 2, because it's always going to multiply in this game. After that is done, you wanna destroy the checker. I'm going to get our scene route. I'm going to set the world location to be that of the trace end. And then after this is done, you want to get the cube and you want to destroy the actor. Once that is done, you can move up and return. So that should move up all the way up. Let us add a delay so you can see it in action. And there we go. Now, it didn't actually update anything. And that is because, let's add this delay back so we might test it again. We want to, before we move up, after we destroy the actor, we want to update number.txt. Now we need to just duplicate this. It's going to be moved down. going to be negative 95. Where it says move up, we're going to move down. Same up here. Let's move up twice. Let's move down. Right. Then I can remove this for now. And the move down. Let's actually duplicate that and get move right. And we might need to, right might need to be positive actually, now that I think about it. Get the right vector. Let's leave it at minus just to see. Move right. Move right. Like so. And then duplicate that. Move left. That is going to be the opposite. I do think these are twisted around though. I do think we need to change them, but we'll see. Move left. Goes into there. Now let's add the functionality for this in our character. So over on our character, we're going to add a key up, like so. We're going to get all actors of class. The class is our number cube. I'm going to do a for each loop out of that. Out of the array element, we're going to check if it's valid. If it is valid, we want to move up. Duplicate this. Down to there. Keyboard down. There. Move down. Okay, now we got our moves. Compile and save. Hit play. And we can move as we want to. However, we need to spawn in the cubes as well. So on the game, every time you do something, it spawns in something, right? So that is very tiny delay of like 0.01. Add in a spawn cube. Have we made that? No, we have not. Spawn cube is going to be very similar to this right here. Just copy that and make a new custom event down here. Spawn cube. And the for loop goes as planned. However, I'm going to do a random thing. I don't think this is in the game, but we're going to do it. So random integer in range 0 to 1. So it's a 50% chance that it's going to spawn 2 cubes instead of 1 cube. And everything else should be exactly the same. Now we can call our spawn cube like so. Play now. That should take care of that. Awesome. We don't have any way to actually track the numbers, so let's do that. Set of variables. We're going to add a HUD ref. WVP HUD. We haven't set that up. Folder interface. And WVP HUD. Remember, we're using our bases now, so our HUD base needs to handle this. Create widget of type HUD. Add that to the viewport. Owning player, get player controller. Ah, that's not the right one. Ah, player controller, like so. So now we should have the HUD. The HUD doesn't actually have anything. Let's add a new widget. It'll be score widget. It's going to be very simple, similar to our number widget. In fact, it's going to have a text block. Decide on screen. This is going to be the max score, highest number widget. Should actually call it that. Highest number widget. Because score might be the highest score you've ever achieved. So highest number is the current one. Text is going to be 5 nines. I don't think you would ever go any higher than that. I'm going to change this from bold to regular, maybe. Looks a bit nicer. Change that shadow color to 1. Shadow alpha to 1. Back inside of our HUD, we can now add a canvas panel. And we can add our highest number widget. We can size that to content and move it into the middle middle center. So out of our graph on our HUD, we've got to make something out of a construct. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cast to player character. This is a pawn, so get player pawn. Out of this, we want to set HUD ref. We haven't changed it because we hadn't made the HUD. Type WP HUD, compile and save. Go back to your HUD. Set the HUD ref. And who is the HUD ref? Well, it is ourselves. Once this is done, we should be good to go. We can get all actors of class. We can get all the number cubes. Do a for each loop out of that. Let's check that the number, so get the number, check that the number that we get is higher than the variable that we're making now. So it's going to be current highest number, integer, compile and save. Make sure that it's higher than that. And out of a branch, if it is higher than that, we're going to replace our current highest number with the incoming one from our loop. Once this is completed, we're going to get our number widget. We're going to get the text, which we haven't set up. So highest number widget. I could have sworn I did that to make it variable, but nah. Get the text. Get highest number widget. Where the crap is it? Oh, it's called highest number widget. Oh my god, it's supposed to be highest number text. Compile and say back here. Get text. Set text. And the text we're going to set it to is the current highest number. Like so. We're going to add a new custom event to this. It's going to be update max score. Plug that in. You can also do a little delay out of the construct of like 2.2 seconds and get that in there. So that should update when we start as well. Now it's currently 2. It's not actually going to fire off for us, but that's okay because we haven't told it to. So back with the reason why we set up so that our player had the HUD ref, there's a reason for that. That is so that we can drag that out and then update max score after we spawn a cube. So after we've made a move, we're going to update the high score. So now it's going to be 4, 4, and if I do it right now, it's going to be 8, you know? And that is basically how you would make a similar game to 2048, I believe it's called. It's a very simple version of it. There's plenty of things you can do to make it more interesting. Instead of having them go immediately, you could probably add a delay so that they're like slowly changing position until they are overlapping. I think the original game has that. Another thing that you could probably do is, I don't know, maybe you could add mines to it that you had to avoid, or maybe a different order of how they add things together, because now they just add, they just swap places, basically, like change places. But yeah, that is basically how you would make it though. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I will be happy to help if I can, and I'll see you until next time. Bye bye.